What's it like to own the subcompact crossover of the BMW family? Today we'll take a detailed look at the X1, meet the owner Devan, find out his top 3 likes and dislikes, and discover if he recommends you buy, consider, or skip this car. Here's the download. The X1 was launched in 2009 as BMW's first entry into the subcompact crossover market. It's smaller than the X3 but a few inches longer than the X2. The second generation was launched in 2016. This is a heavily contested segment with other cars like the Audi Q3, the Mercedes GLA, the Volvo XC40, and the Jaguar E-Pace. So let's take a detailed look at the X1. Nice to see in a crossover this size is a 2.0-liter 4-cylinder twin-turbo engine producing 240 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. Gas mileage is an impressive 34 miles per gallon highway. A 3.0-liter 6-cylinder engine producing 300 horsepower and 300 pound-feet of torque was offered in previous years, but not anymore for 2019. Drivetrain comes in both all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive. The interior features the clean design lines and high-quality finishes you expect from BMW. Leather seating comes standard. Good headroom and legroom in the back too. A two-tone color scheme with a silver-toned accent makes for a nice look. The instrument cluster is analog with a small digital readout area. Unfortunately, in this generation, an infotainment screen doesn't come standard in the entry-level model. In its place, you get a storage unit. While the driver's cup holder works fine, the passenger's cup holder is a flimsy clip-on. The exterior design feels like it's the weakest link for this car. It has typical crossover features of a higher entry height, good headroom, and a large cargo area. As there is no room for a spare, run-flat tires are standard. But it feels like BMW didn't put much effort into making this design exciting or crisp like so many of its other models. Overall proportions are awkward and the light clusters are oddly shaped. If you're looking for stronger styling, consider the X2, but keep in mind that it does start about $2,000 more than the X1. And now onto Devan's top 3 likes and dislikes, starting with why he picked this car.
We picked this car because we really like the BMW brand. We already have an X3 and it was a replacement for a previous Mercedes C-Class that we owned, and we went with X1. Our first like is the fact that it's got great cargo space. It's great because you can fold down the seats in a 40-40-20 configuration. It's really great to throw a bike in there or runs to Home Depot or Costco, etc. So that's really handy. Our first dislike is the fact that this is a standard model. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles, so it misses, like, for example, the power seats and Bluetooth music, so we don't like that. Our second like is its performance. It's got the sports mode transmission. It's a 2-liter vehicle, 4-cylinder, but again, like, if you need the performance, it's there. It's 200 plus horsepower, so when you need that performance, it is definitely there. Second dislike is the fact that it has a lot of road noise. I think, again, it's down to the fact that it doesn't have all the bells and whistles. So we do notice a lot of the road noise from now and then. Third like is the fact that it's not an SUV, it's not a big vehicle, it's not a sedan, it's a crossover. And living in the Bay Area, and especially in the hills of Belmont, it's great to maneuver on the hills, and so that's something we really like. Our third dislike is the passenger side coffee holder. It's kind of in a weird position, especially if a tall person sitting there, you're kind of hitting against it. And I've never used it, and it's just in a weird position.
And here are a few highlights from the rest of our chat. If you're looking for an X1 from that generation, do consider a slightly higher trim. The entry level is pretty basic. And now, before we get to Devan's recommendation, here is a little bit about this show. We don't pay the drivers on the show for their opinions. Instead, to thank them, we make a donation to a non-profit charity of their choice. You can thank them by clicking on the like button below. If you'd like to be on the show, please reach out. And now let's find out if Devan recommends you buy, consider, or skip this car.
I would definitely recommend buying the vehicle. It's compact, it's economical, and it's great, and it's fun to drive as well.
And there you have Devan's recommendation. We'd love to hear from other X1 owners. Let us know your likes, dislikes, and recommendation in the comments below. Subscribe and see you soon.